Hello and welcome to this video. I wanted to just show you a quick little glimpse into our back end of recruitment. We've got the top 1% of recruitment, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a back end run through of how it is that we're actually managing to do this, because I believe that we are doing something that no one else is doing to my understanding, and that is why we're able to get and really distill our candidates and our shortlist to the top 1%. So to start off, this is just a bit of the flow. I mean, this is really basic, and there's a lot more pieces to this, but as a general you can get that this is kind of the process that we're doing, right? Job posting, the application, there's a lot of nooks and crannies that go into each and every single one of these areas. The way that we do job posts, we get lots of referrals, we use social media, we use other paid subscription platforms. We've got the responding to candidates, we've got the evaluation, another response here, and then we've got the selection process. So we're doing invites to job opportunities, and then once we've got our list, it's all about endorsements. So we do have an optional training period as well. So if you'd like your VA to be trained up on specific tools and softwares, then that's something that we can absolutely do. So we have a look at we just sort of analyze your back end. How many different tools and softwares does this VA need to be adept in? And then we either usually do a 2-week or a 4-week training period. Okay, so it's basically when you're signing up with us, we'll get you to pay 2 to 4 weeks worth of the hours paid up front. And then that initial period is put towards training, where we're getting them set up on the tools and the softwares. And perhaps if there's specific strategies that you need as well, like a LinkedIn strategy, then we can get them trained in on that as well. Okay, so that's the initial period of endorsement. So that's what's going to be happening before we get them onboarded with you, because ultimately you want to have as many of the wrinkles ironed out before you've got them onboarded. Okay, it's going to make for a seamless onboarding experience, and it's going to lessen the learning curve, which basically frees up a hell of a lot of your time and makes the process a lot more efficient in terms of getting a new person on board. Okay, there's just a bit of a workflow of what we're actually doing as well. Now, one of the things that I really love about our process, and I'm very proud of what we've put together over the last few years, and also with the 15 plus years of recruitment and HR experience, is some of the tests that we have. So we've got 4 different tests, and they're all looking at different things. So the first test is on communication. This second test here is on verbal reasoning. This third test over here is attention to detail, and then this one here is time management, organizational skills, and initiative. So we're getting a really good picture of all the candidates that we're screening, and these aren't just any old questions. Okay, these aren't just questions that I googled and put together. They are very thorough and scientifically validated questions as well. So we're, in a way, we are testing on job specific skills in some instances, but more so it's the unique personality and value tests, which really allow us to get to know the applicants as real people, not just pieces of paper. So the beauty of this is, I mean, yeah, sure, we look at CVs and we look at the profiles and all the rest of it as well, but getting this kind of information through these tests is absolutely paramount when it comes to recruitment. So these tests have actually been put together by a psychometrics team as well. They've been effectively reviewed and peer reviewed by other experts in the field as well, to make sure that they're accurate and ensure the efficacy and effectiveness. This is just the values test, really, and what you would call soft skills in recruitment. Okay, and then you've got the harder skills, where you're looking at the actual skill, whether it's web development, whether it's social media management. This is really the soft skill, which I think is absolutely integral when it comes to recruitment, because a lot of it comes down to attitude and the way people think, and the way that they've been molded over time and who they've become. So there's a little snippet on some of the tests that we're doing. You've seen the flow of recruitment. Here's just a little bit of a snapshot on what it might look like on the back end for us. I know some people get interested in this, so we've got some really tight-knit screws here, where we're just making sure that we only get the best of the best. It truly is the top 1%, where, this is one of my favorite questions: what do you do to stay happy and healthy? Okay, we've got that as part of our screening. This tells us a lot about someone, because if you've got someone that is already always putting someone else in front of them, in front of themselves, then that likely they're going to be putting your company on the back burner when issues arise. We like to see what they do to stay happy and healthy. How do they regulate their nervous system? And the other piece that we have in our recruitment is what we call a genius report. Okay, and so if we pull this genius report up here, this probably looks quite confusing to you, and it was confusing to me when I first saw it as well. I've been studying this for the last couple of years now, and we've actually integrated this as part of our recruitment as well. I said that those tests were evolutionary. This is really next level. It's based on essentially your DNA blueprint. Okay, and so this genius report that we have here, I really feel like this is looking at self-realization, individuality, creativity, and and, in a sense, quality of life. So rather than looking at people who have to adopt to a job description, it's about looking at these other pieces of the puzzles here. And like I said, it's based on your DNA code or your blueprint. Okay, so you actually need your date of birth and your birth time in order to be able to get this report here. And like I said, we've studied it over time. A lot of it has to do with your energetic disposition. It's a force field, right? So create a very interpersonal dynamic. And you also take into consideration energetic conditioning with this, which I know probably sounds like a whole lot of mumbo jumbo to you. The important thing is, you know that we are doing everything within our means and knowledge to get down to that top 1%. So we can actually look at these things here, this power base here. We can look at this power base, and if you're looking for someone, specifically who is, great in sales, we're often going to be looking at this red mark here, this red one, promoting communication and interaction. This is where you'll see a lot of the sales representatives. You can think of them as the warriors or the business developers, and for different reasons, that's why they fall into this. You've got strengthening management and administration. So generally, you're going to see lots of leadership, hierarchy here. Owners of the business generally have this here. And if you don't have this here, you will often probably need someone in your team who does have this if you are looking to scale and grow. Okay, I believe Steve Jobs actually had a 0 here, and funnily enough, he ended up getting fired from his own company. So yeah, it's really based a lot on quantum physics, astrology, but also science as well. We've also got these specific talent and skills. So we've got our own back-end system where we can look through and see the specifics on these, and we know that what they relate to as well. So if we're looking for certain positions or certain roles, we can really distill our shortlist and our candidate list to something that's going to be the highest value match. Okay, because we know the high turnover of staff is one of the biggest expenses for business, and it doesn't need to be that way. If you can eliminate as many errors as possible by having a really dialed in and distilled recruitment process and after that a follow-up HR process, then you're going to do pretty well. You're going to be building a dream team and making things essentially work more efficiently. So you want to be working smarter and not harder, and that comes down to finding the right candidates, finding the right people to work on your team. So I hope this has been insightful for you. I hope you've got something out of this, and if you do have any questions, just hit reply, email me, and let me know. I'm happy to have a conversation and see what's going on.